you have an airplane with a cross through, because obviously you can't fly at any point. If you fly just once, then that would void the project, because you can't say you went to every country in the world without flying if you flew. Right. So the middle one says minimum 24 hours. Now, I had to work out how long do I need to stay in a country before I can say that I've been to a country. And the third rule is my home with a crossover. That's an illustration of I cannot go back home until the very last country has been reached. No one expected this would take 10 years. I set out on a project which we thought would take 4 years or less. And that's still a long time. I remember telling my father that I wanted to do this, and he was very disappointed. And he was very proud of my career within shipping and logistics. So I really had to defend this idea to my father. And eventually he came more or less on board. My mother is a completely different person. I was walking alongside with her when I told her that I would possibly be away from home for 4 years, trying to accomplish what no one had ever done before. And she looked at me and she said, I also like to travel. She's also very proud of me, and she's also a huge supporter. She didn't want to get between me and what I wanted. I had her blessings, and we decided to stay together. And as strange as it might sound, we feel that we have grown closer together in spite of the distance between us. I was on board a ship and heading towards Hong Kong, where I was supposed to transit for 4 days so that I could continue to Palau, which was the next new country. And that was a 12-day journey on board the ship, and I reached Hong Kong, and there was a virus outbreak in China, and the world started to fall apart. So instead of getting on board the ship to Palau, Palau closed its borders, and I got stuck in Hong Kong, and there was nowhere I could go, and I was in Hong Kong for 2 years. 2 years instead of 4 years. That was simultaneously a really good time. It's a beautiful part of the world, and Hong Kong has a lot to offer, and I made really good friends in Hong Kong, but it was mentally very hard, not knowing how long I had to wait. None of us knew when the world would start to open up again, but I only had 9 countries to go. It took 2 years, and then finally I was able to go to Palau, and then eventually continue further into the Pacific. And the trouble with the pandemic continued because none of the ship owners wanted to take any passengers. A lot of the countries that still had to go to the Pacific Islands, they were closed, trying to protect the countries against the virus. And I had to negotiate with governments. It was a hard time. It set me back several years. Have you ever thought of giving up and going home? Yes, I have thought about giving up and going home many times. I would say that sometimes people go on vacation and come home tired and feel like they need a vacation after their vacation. And that could be just 2 weeks of travel time. Some take a gap year, 6 months, and then they come home tired and rich with experiences, and they need to digest and reflect on all of that. Very few people travel for a year, even fewer people for a couple of years. I left home in 2013, and in 2015 I was ready to go home. It was hard. I didn't feel there was enough appreciation in what I was doing. I had cerebral malaria. My relationship to my then girlfriend was shaky. It started out being 99% adventure and then 1% work. And over 2 years it changed, becoming 99% work and 1% adventure. So yeah, I had plenty of reasons to give up. There's been a lot of hardship along the way, and I kept fighting for what I believed in and hoping that it would get better, that it would get easier. And sometimes it did get easier, and then sometimes it got harder again. When the pandemic struck, that was definitely time to pause and reflect and think about going home. I think Turkey is amazing. I think it's such an exciting country. It's a very large country. It's so full of beautiful landscapes and ancient culture and history. The food is amazing. I've been from the west to the east of Turkey, and I've been treated with a great deal of kindness in many different ways. People, they take me into their homes, give me hugs and kisses and serve me food and bring me around and show me whatever they have in their hearts. I have some really, really good friends in Istanbul. Istanbul is by far one of my favorite cities. I feel like I could stay in Istanbul forever and keep discovering new streets and new neighborhoods and all sorts of old history. It's a remarkable city. And I had a really good time meeting with Turk Kisile, I think it's called, the Turkish Red Crescent, who are doing a phenomenal job. I love Turkey. I've been to Turkey so many times, and I will definitely come back to Turkey again. For me, it's very important to have a contact person, preferably someone who can come and contact you or come and meet with you at the border and then bring you inside. Someone who knows the culture, someone who knows the language. At the same time, if you do go to these countries that are troubled in one way or the other, then you're likely to find a lot of hospitality. People do not expect a traveler to come. They expect military, they expect NGOs, Red Cross, Red Crescent, humanitarian workers, but not travelers. So I have always found that I was shown a great deal of hospitality. These are people who are proud of where they come from, and they still want to show the beauty and the culture, the food, the humor, whatever they have to offer.